when it is love. I know when it is love.
People have been talking about now
That's the way I'm
Oh, ready na ako. Ay, wait lang ha. Oh, nakita mo yan?
Wait, do you have... I see your boobies. Is that your boobies? I see your nipples.
Oh.
Did you wear a bra?
Because I'm so excited tonight.
I know, me too. Hello, kumusta po? Kumusta po kayong lahat? Good evening. Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday, everyone. It's 9:35 p.m. here in the East Coast. So, good evening to our dearest USA. And of course, it's what time is it in California? It's in California is 6:35
Yes,
p.m.
-3.
So hello mga Californians. I hope you guys are watching. And of course, it's 10:30 a.m. in the Philippines. So, good morning po sa aming mahal na Pilipinas. My God, Jekas, I'm so excited for tonight. Oh my God, one of our idol.
World-class talent, so bata pa. Oo.
Exactly. She's so young. She's so beautiful. So talented. Another, was that inverted umbrella? Diba? Anyway, Jekas, ikaw naman. Greet everyone.
Oo, inverted umbrella pero hindi po inverted ang nipple ko dahil good morning po sa lahat ng mga Filipinos and non-Filipinos in different time zones, in different dimensions, in different continents, in different galaxies, in this whole wide universe!
Oh God, I'm so excited. We are so hyper tonight because guys, okay, I'm sorry. We have to speak in English. No English, no.
It's an Anglicizing episode.
It's an Anglicizing episode for tonight. Oh, you should tune in, guys, because you will pick a lot of ideas and a lot of probably let's pick her brains, no? Especially for those people who's thriving and who wants to be a producer or who wants to eventually, become a good director. This is the right person that you need to talk to and listen to. Right, J-Caz?
Yes.
And before we start, we would like to say hi to those people who commented first. Michael Biscotto. Ang sarap. I love your last name.
Oo, yung last
sounded
name.
Like yummy.
Parang kulang. All we need is
Biscuit.
coffee and your bizcocho,
Yes,
Michael.
and your bizcocho.
Ay, iba na naman ang meaning. Ano ba
I
yun?
know, bizcocho in Italy. Yes, is that time again? Good evening, Jesse and J-Cat. Sorry, can't watch tonight. Need to be up early. Enjoy, guys. It's okay. You can always watch it tomorrow, tonight. You can always watch it. Okay, mag-replay naman eh. So, hi, Cory Miranda, watching from California. We miss you, Bex. Tita Mai's also watching. Oh, VOV from. Hello, Bex.
Hello,
From Vancouver ba siya? Or Toronto? Yes, in Canada. Hello.
Basta sa Canada.
Oo. Hane Gandawal. Hello, mga backs. Anyways, okay, I will introduce our special guest for tonight. Okay, our special guest for tonight is a Filipino-American multi-awarded writer, producer, documentary film, narrative film, and commercial director. She is best known for writing, directing, and producing the 2020 film Yellow Rose. Yellow Rose was her debut narrative feature that was released by Sony Pictures. Imagine? So Sony Pictures, starring Eva Noblezada, Dale Watson, our favorite Princess Punzalan, and of course, Miss Lea Salonga. The film was selected as the opening night of the 2019 Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. It won several awards like the inaugural ABS-CBN Cinematographo Grant and in the Bentonville Film Festival and the Hawaii International Film Festival, to name a few. In the past, she also made a 2011 documentary entitled Brooklyn Boheme. The film was about African arts movement that launched the career of Spike Lee, Chris Rock, Branford Marsalis, and Rosie Perez, among others.
Yes, let's name drop.
Oo, mag-name drop na. Let's find out more from this world-class director and see what other projects she is pulling out of her sleeves this 2021. Guys, please welcome the person behind the success of Yellow Rose, Miss Diane
Paragas.
Hi, guys.
Oh my God, we are so excited. Kumusta?
I have never seen so much energy from two people at 9:30 at night.
I know, right?
I know. I'm sorry. We're a couple of weirdos. You can't back out now, Diane.
I know.
Too late. Listen, girl, I got my cocktail, so
know,
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get a drink on a Wednesday night. So anyway, Diane, before we start, would you like to say hi to everyone who's watching right now, especially the
Hi to
Filipino
everybody.
people?
Hi,
Yes.
everybody who's watching. I'm looking forward to having this conversation, and bring on the questions and bring on the alcohol.
No, yes, I know, right? So before we start all these questions, this is as I've said, like this is like a a kitchen table talk. Just imagine we're at your kitchen table and we're just drinking.
Very
drunk.
cash and very Filipino. Because
cash.
right now I'll be in your fridge. I'm looking if you have leftovers to eat while we're drinking. That's how I am.
That's
You know.
Jcas for you. Yes,
You know,
that's what-
You're welcome anytime.
I don't know if you
Open.
I know if you understand this. I'll open your fridge. I'll say, "Ano ulam?"
Do you know?
Yeah,
you know what?
that's
Anong
what-
ulam?
I-
Anong
You-
ulam? It means what's
Yummy.
what's your food?
Yeah,
No, what's your food?
yeah.
Oh, there we
What
go.
food do you have? Yeah.
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 Oh my God. So anyways, of course, we have this ceremony in our show. We have to welcome you by, of course, toasting. Yes. So anyways,
Cheers.
okay. Sa sambayan ng Pilipinas po at sa aming dearest USA, we would like to welcome, my God, Pinoy Pride, Miss Diane Paragas.
Welcome to
Welcome.
over a glass or two. Cheers.
Cheers.
Twinkling.
Cheers.
Or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or a dozen, right?
I copied you on the fruit. I got some raspberries in mine.
Yeah, but
I know.
what
What are
did
you
you
drinking?
concoct? Yeah.
It is apple. It's fresh pressed apple juice with strawberry and champagne.
Okay. Very Brooklyn, but bougie.
Very bougie.
bougie.
I'm celebrating because I got my first vaccine today.
Oh,
God,
congrats!
congratulations.
Thank you.
Wait, how does it feel?
At Pfizer, it's a little bit. It's sore a little bit, but
Okay.
the idea that I have it, it doesn't matter. It's like when you have a
Exactly.
baby.
Yes.
Very painful, but you have a baby.
It's worth it, right? It's
It is worth it.
Is Pfizer
Yes.
Is Pfizer a two-part or just one?
Two-part. I think the only one part is Johnson & Johnson. That's the only
Yes.
one part. Yeah.
Yes, we're waiting for Johnson and Johnson to come out.
You're not
and
going to do
then-
it until Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I hope like we have to wait for like a couple of weeks or maybe a month.
Or
If
maybe
no
I'm
one
waiting on the
turned into-
sideline.
I know if we said if anyone probably didn't turn zombie, then it's okay. Then probably we're safe. Just kidding. So anyways, Miss
That's
Aya,
why I'm
can you
waiting
take-
on the sideline. Yes.
I know.
I
right?
hear you. I hear you.
know. Miss Aya, you don't mind if we take a picture? We have a photo op here.
Sure.
A screenshot. There you go. Would you like to raise your glass? Oh, there you go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Such a fun show.
Oh my God! Hi, Ate Pilar Mateo. Ate Pilar Mateo is one
Hi,
of
Ate Pilar.
the most renowned publicist in the Philippines, and she's watching right now. Hi, Ate
Hi.
Pilar.
Hi.
My God, Miss Diane, it's an honor. It's an honor,
Thank
and we
you.
are humbled. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, we thought in the beginning, like when I said you, I was like shaking. I was like, "Do you think she would say yes?" I'm like, "She would probably." Do you think she would probably notice that? And then you were just like, in a matter of like what, a minute, you just, "Oh, sure." I was like, "Oh my God!" Like you are
Yes.
so humble. You are humble.
Yes. Well, I mean, especially if I know it's coming from my people, I always
Your
say yes.
peeps, right?
My peeps.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to support. You have to support each other.
Oh, so you say you're located in Manhattan, right?
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in
Brooklyn, New
Brooklyn.
York.
Brooklyn
Oh, a New
represent. I'm in Red
Yorker.
Hook, Brooklyn. Oh yes, I've been here a while, and I'm just somebody. Even though maybe all my agents, everybody's in LA. I'd much rather be here. It's just my
Really?
hometown.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
I'm a
was about to
Brooklynite.
ask that.
So you
I made a
originally.
movie about Brooklyn Bohemians.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
Brooklyn
you
Bohemian,
did.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wait, what's with because I know, like you mentioned, like you can move. Like, come on, your career is probably in a lot of producers and directors and actors and actresses are all in California, and it's not cold and it's always sunny there. But why you decided to stay in New York?
I just when I'm not directing, I'm writing, and I just am more inspired here. It's just I think something about I love LA. I love to visit, but everybody there is in film, and I just don't feel it's too much. Everybody's trying to pitch you. Everyone's trying to talk about their projects. Here, I can just be left alone. I can write when I want to, but my friends do other things. Not everybody is in the film business, so I like to have a little bit of separation from it from time to time.
Which is good.
But when I go there, I get to see everybody and I get to really be in it. But these days, it was all Zoom this year, and
Sure.
yeah.
Especially
So
2019, right?
yes.
But do you
So,
have family too in LA, or most of them are here in the East Coast?
my parents are here, also in Brooklyn. They actually moved here to be close to my daughter and I. So my daughter Sophie is in the movie, is in Yellow Rose.
Oh,
She's the little
yes.
girl, and
Oh
she's
my
sleeping right now,
God.
which is why I had to close the door. I can't be too loud because she's in the other room and she'll wake
Oh
up.
my God.
But,
Your daughter is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yes, she got the looks. She got the looks.
Yes.
But so my parents, like good Filipino parents, wanted to be near the granddaughter, so they're
Aw.
here, and yeah. So it's another reason why it's hard to move. But I love New York. I love the East Coast. Just an East Coast girl. What can I say?
There you go, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I do have a question. How I know you don't speak and understand Tagalog, right? Like,
Not really.
So how did your family? Were they like an immigrant when they came here, or they were born and
Yeah,
raised
I
here?
was very small when we came. I was probably 2 or 3 when we came here, and so they didn't. I spoke a little bit of Tagalog when I was a little baby, but we had really wanted to assimilate because we ended up in this small Texas town, which is where Yellow Rose comes from. I grew up in Texas. And I got bullied a little bit. People made fun of the accent. So my parents spoke to us in English, and really wanted us to speak English all the time. And so it was kind of like to get rid of our accent. And now, of course, we regret it. They regret it. We kind of lost it. But my older brother lives in the Philippines and has for many, many years. He got married there. He's married to Ali Gordon, who's Dick Gordon's daughter. And
wow. Ooh,
my nephews, we go there all the time and visit for Christmas and stuff. So they live there and always have for the last a long time.
So I'm sure he speaks Tagalog, right?
He speaks better than me. Yes, for sure.
Okay,
For
okay.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
How is it growing up with Filipino, especially Filipino mom? Because you know how Jokoy, right? We love all the humor
course.
and jokes. And,
Of course.
The mom, Vicks, you have to, Vicks, you better go and, how is it like, the food that you sometimes
We
like
grew
they
up
say
with
like,
the food.
okay.
Oh yeah, we grew up with the food. My parents were kind of, especially my mom, very unconventional Filipino parents. Very kind of, very much supported me being creative. They supported me when I was in high school. I painted and played music, and they encouraged all that. And they kind of introduced me to like art house cinema. Like they're very unusual parents. They like kind of
You mean
interesting artistic things.
They supported your weirdness.
Yes, they did. They encouraged it. They encouraged it, if anything. So it's
seriously,
unusual. Very unusual.
You're lucky. Oh my God.
Most parents
I'm
will
very
ask-
lucky. I'm very lucky.
Right, because most Filipino parents will force you to become a nurse. You
Yes.
have to be a nurse,
No.
right?
Not my parents are both doctors, and so they actually
wow.
didn't want us to go into medicine. They wanted us. My mom wanted to pursue the arts herself, so I think she actually, when she saw that I wanted to pursue it, she encouraged it. She's like, if you want to be an artist, you go for it, you know. And she wrote, she still does. She writes poems and plays. So she was like me. It was in her too. And I think she kind of encouraged me to do it. So I'm very lucky that way. But you know, they had all the same chismes as everybody.
I mean, that's great.
That part is the same.
That's great because normally, you know, the parents would sway you and say, "Oh, there's no money in being an artist and painting."
Yeah.
Don't. But you know,
Yeah. Oh wow.
to each their own. Yeah.
Yes, they encouraged me. Surprisingly, they encouraged me. And you know, I was able to right away make a living doing this. So I've always directed in various different ways. So I was able to show I could make a living from it. So they just kept it going. But they always encouraged my art, I have to say.
Which is good.
I'm very lucky.
When you were younger, because I know, like, of course, you know, the Filipino parents, the typical Filipino parents, whenever there's a party, right? You know, our party is like a fiesta. There's a lot of food, karaoke and everything. Were your parents like force you to like, oh my God, my daughter can sing, can go in the middle and sing and do?
Yes, always. They always made us go and perform. I mean, now that is this. I don't know a Filipino parent who doesn't push you in and we're like, we don't want to do it, and you have to get up and dance and yes.
Sing the carpenter song. Sing the carpenter song. Yes.
Yes, we had all that. They pushed us in the middle. Definitely. It's so interesting that those things just are the same, you know, across the board. We eat a lot. We love to sing. We love to perform. When I go back to the Philippines, it's just like a you know, American Idol show. You know, all the kids have to get up and perform. So my daughter had to do it now.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, your turn. And she had to get up and perform. And it's everybody does it. But that's the part I love. I love that part about us.
I know, right? We're very friendly. You know, we always invite everyone. Come on, eat.
Eat. Yes, definitely.
Do you cook Filipino food?
I do. I cook, you know, adobo. I cook pinakbet. I cook, you know, everything. Tinola, arroz caldo. I cook everything. I love cooking.
Just by you mentioning those names of food, I'm already hungry right now. So
I'm hungry. We should be having like a nice big plate of topsilog or something.
I could do that.
Breakfast.
I know I drink and eat at the same time. That's my one of my weirdness.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
One of his talent.
Yeah.
That's one of his talent. Yeah. Yeah. So what was the? I know that you started writing, right? When that was the first thing that you did, right? Like you started, you know, like writing. What age were you when you started it?
You know, I didn't go to film school, so that's one thing that's different than what a lot of people did. And because when I was in college, which was a while ago, I didn't have any examples of female directors. So it wasn't like a path that was obvious to me. So I didn't study filmmaking, even though I studied film studies a little bit. I was more studying liberal arts. It was only when I graduated and I moved to New York where I started working in film. I started working at an ad agency and I worked in kind of commercials and things like that.
Oh, wow.
And I still direct commercials. In fact, I'm about to go direct a commercial very soon. It'll be my second thing to shoot during the pandemic. The other one was another commercial I shot a couple of months ago. So that's how I kind of make a living in between my films. Yeah.
Okay. So you started writing, right? So what was the first was that the first what is it, film, or what is the first story that you wrote? That was like
the first story I wrote is actually
we're so excited about.
Well, the first film script I wrote is something I'm actually picking up now. It's something, the very first thing I wrote is what I'm actually picking up now, and it's a story about the Philippines during World War II, and a girl who has a magical lizard. It's called Lizards, and it follows her journey into becoming a female guerrilla in the war, and this love story that happens in between. But because of Yellow Rose, this music has become much more part of my artistry, I guess. And so I'm writing it as a pop music opera. for the
wow.
screen. So it'll be, I guess it's sort of like the closest thing would be Hamilton, but it's it's magical realism and it's a war film. So it's different in that respect, but it's a very ambitious project. It's what I've been working on for the past year.
Wait, you got me lost at Magical Lizard.
I know, right? It's like Harry
I was
Potter,
like,
Hamilton.
No, yeah, there's a lot going on.
It's like Hamilton
Exactly.
on psychedelics. There's a lizard that wants
It
to be
is,
a
it
gorilla in wartime in Manila.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
When you first wrote this,
It's called
What-
Lizards, a pop opera.
Lizards of pop
when you're writing this,
wow.
so was this particularly just for a movie first? Because you said that now it's going.
It is a movie. It is a movie. Yeah, this is a movie that I'm writing. So I'm writing the script with my co-writer Marie Jamora and kind of writing the music as well, because I did write some of the music in Yellow Rose. So it's just sort of come full circle. I definitely, during the pandemic when I picked the script back up again, I just felt like writing music. There's something, like you want that release where or inside it's depressing, and I just found myself writing music for the story. And then it slowly became clear to me that it was structured almost like an opera. So there's a chorus in the form of, I hope, cross fingers, it'll be Bruno Mars, but a character like Bruno Mars who is part of the Bamboo Telegraph and kind of tells you the story of the war from his bunker in the jungle.
But it's not. But is it for kids or it's for everyone?
No, it's
for
adult.
everyone.
It's very adult, and the war, the parts of the war are pretty brutal. We talk about the comfort camps and the Battle of Manila and the bombing of Manila and the atrocities that the Japanese committed against Filipinos. So, I really wanted to, and that's why I call it an opera, because it's a very big sweeping tale. And it's told in sort of this very big, epic landscape. So it's a pretty ambitious project.
I'm curious, like, what are the process of thoughts that you do, like inspiration to write? Let's say, for example, the new one that you just wrote, and including Yellow Rose. Because think about it, like you grew up here, and like, you don't have, like, you didn't grow up in the Philippines, and you don't have that much. A history about it. So what do you use? What's your inspiration to write those movies? I mean, those stories.
I think, my parents always told me these stories, kind of folklore stories from the Philippines, but also just literature. And there's a history of magical realism in Filipino literature. And I'm very interested in the Filipino folklore kind of stories of things like magical, animals and things like that, animism.
Like the Phoenix, the Ibong Adarna. I don't know if
Exactly.
you've heard about it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So I think this was an interesting metaphor. The lead character's name is Mati, and she's a very dark-skinned girl in a mestizo family, and she's ashamed of that. So she bonds with a lizard because they can shed their skin, and it becomes a metaphor of the many skins of our history through colonialism. So the film is, I would say, more about colonialism and colorism as much as it is about war and the drama of the war. Because for the Philippines, the war was the precursor to our independence, and after the war was done, finally the Philippines gained its independence again. So it's about a lot of things. So, but kind of at the core of it is the fight and the liberation of the Philippines as a metaphor through this character and through this lizard. So it's pretty up there. However, then you have rap songs in there, and there's like pop music in there. So it's not this didactic, heavy thing. It's entertaining.
It's just
and surprising.
It's right up my alley.
I know that-
I could have thought about that, but you thought about it first. So there you go.
So you can't claim it, J-Cast.
No, mine is a little different. Mine is not a lizard; it's an iguana. So just a little.
There you go. Well,
of
that's
it.
a lizard.
There you go.
That's a lizard.
You know.
That's the lizard. There you go. There you go.
You never, Diane, you never thought of becoming like an actress or part of, like you have a part of the movie, that a cameo that you have to be in it. in the
In front of
movie
the
that
I
you
did.
did.
I actually acted before. I've had a SAG card at one point, and it was
Ooh.
it was a good thing to do to sort of understand actors and to
Okay.
understand the process of acting. And I acted a bit in high school, and that's always been something I've been interested in. But I'm much more a storyteller behind the camera. That's where I really am interested in the storytelling and the technical aspects of it, and bringing all these things together: the music, the lighting, the camera, the actors, the themes, the all of it. I love the whole thing of the whole process. When something comes together, I love it.
What about speaking of Yellow Rose? So, what was your inspiration writing it? 'Cause was
Well, I grew
such
up in
an
Texas.
amazing movie that we were
Congratulations.
just like
We-
blown away that we watched it twice.
We,
watched it
we
twice.
ventured out of. It's still in the thick of COVID, but it's already kind of saved Jesse during that time, right? When we
Yes, it
we,
was.
we went to
seriously,
the
we
theater
were-
in Jersey.
Everyone was like looking at us like, "Are you crazy watching?" I was like, "We don't care. We want to watch it."
we were like
Where in Jersey? Where in Jersey did you
and
see it?
Newport Mall.
Newport Mall.
I saw it there too. I saw
Oh
it
my
there.
God!
I
Yes.
was there. I don't remember. It wasn't the open night. Maybe a couple days later, because
Yes.
that's the only place you could see it. So I
Yes.
went there. I wanted to see it with an audience. So that's where I saw it too. So I saw it in that same theater. But it's just so great to this thing that you come up with in your head, and then such as it was, even though it was in the pandemic, it's in a theater, in a shopping mall in New Jersey.
Exactly.
So that means something to us, to me. To have a Filipino film playing up against a movie like with Robert De Niro, or, with the Sony logo coming in front of it.
Oh my
that
God!
really,
Goosebumps
that really means,
with the Sony
that
logo.
really
We were
means something. Yes.
After the movie, we were just like, "Wow, this is like." I know it's not the Asia. Was not Crazy Rich Asian, but we felt like you had
Yeah.
no clue. Like we had goosebumps, and we were so proud. Like we felt like, "Oh my God, we're Filipino."
Because
like,
it's a
the
Filipino
flag is-
movie.
It
but,
is, yes.
But it's Hollywood. It's
Yes,
also
yes.
it's also American by feel, by texture, and they would definitely embrace the story, and of course it's universal.
Exactly. Yes.
I hope so. That's what I tried to do. I mean, what's more American than a Western, which is basically what this is. It's,
Yeah.
she's a cowboy, she is going from, like the cowboys did in old Westerns. They'd go from town to town and with the horse, except she's going on a bus pass and she has her guitar, not a gun,
Yes.
and that was always my thinking, was she was like a modern day, John Wayne in The Searchers. That was an influence on the script and on the story.
There's already like a little doubt in there, like, oh, a little Asian girl who wants to sing country songs and want to
Yeah.
country
Yeah,
songs.
we were asking about that.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go,
Exactly.
already.
From the get-go, she's in trouble, right? She's
Yes.
already going to face some trouble just from even having that dream. So, I just thought it was an opportunity to tell the quintessential American, coming of age story, and about the American dream. And it was a celebration of the American dream, but also an indictment of the American dream. That was the thinking behind the script.
Yeah, but was that I'm just curious because I know like for a good writer to write a script like that, especially especially if the topic is about immigration, illegal immigrants, right? Do you have any friends that you talk to and their stories, right? Like
Yes.
writing this because it's really heavy.
So it's pretty heavy. So my background before I did Yellow Rose was in documentaries. So for me, researching is really important. So because it took me so long to make this movie, many, many, many years, I got a real opportunity to research very in depth. So I partnered with the Filipino Legal Defense Fund, and they let me into detention centers where I interviewed people who were behind bars. I got to visit the actual detention centers, which were in prisons and were prisons. And I also interviewed families who were detained and also got out. So everything you see in the film was based on original research. And the way the mother gets arrested was almost a word for word verbatim account of one family, the Golfines, who were sent into a detention center and they were separated from their son. and from each other. They all got put in different places, and they stayed there for 6 months, not knowing whether they would ever go back home or get sent back home. No one kind of told them what was going on. They went in the middle of the night, and all of the things you see in the film happened to them. So, I wanted to present as accurate a depiction of what happens to families when they get picked up by ICE, what happens when they get separated, and an approximation of what that feels like to be someone like Rose, who she didn't choose to come here. That wasn't her choice. And yet it's the only home she's ever known. So it's a difficult choice for her to have to make, to stay here or to go back with her mother and leave everything she knows. So that's a great dilemma to have in the film, but it's also indicative of what's happening in the country and what was definitely happening at the time. Like when we shot the film, it was at the height of what was happening with families and kids getting locked up.
Yeah. So it's pretty much based from a true story from random people, their own story.
That's right. That's right. It's based on true stories. That's right. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I cried. Like I watched it twice, and I'm still crying every time. Like I watch it twice, and I'm just like, oh my God, seriously, that really happened in real life?
It still happens, and much worse than that. I mean, we were pretty gentle in terms of, if you remember when 2 years ago or so, they were showing images of kids that were in cages and piled into these cages and then not told where their parents were. And that's exactly when we shot the film. So everyone on the crew, even though we had a very small crew and it was a typical no budget independent film and we just made it, in 19 days, we were all feeling the importance of what we were doing. I think everyone really put in that extra mile because they just knew this was happening in the country. And it's sort of a shame with everything with pandemic. I think, everybody's attention at that point was on the pandemic when we finally released the film, and also on Black Lives Matter, which of course it should be. But so the immigration issue was sort of like not forgotten, but it was certainly not the top of people's minds.
It was a little muddled during last year.
It was a little muddled. It was a little muddled. So I think over time, I hope people will find the film, because now we're available in so many places on Amazon and Apple and Vudu and all those places you can get it. So I think people will eventually find the film. But thank you so much for taking that risk and going to the theater and celebrating.
We don't care. I know.
No, we had to, because we were going back and forth with Princess as well, and it was like, because she's a friend of the show, and she's like, we want to see it for ourselves, and
How great was Princess? Can we talk about that?
Oh my God!
God, are you kidding?
One of the best people.
I was blown away.
I mean, as a person, as an actress. Oh my God.
Speaking of that,
so I want to shout out to Princess Punzalan. There's a magazine called Cowboys and Indians, which is, for people who are obsessed with cowboys and Westerns and Indians. And it's a pretty popular magazine, but not a lot of Filipinos subscribe to it. And every year for the last 4 years, they do their own movie awards. So this year we were nominated with Nomadland and First Cow in a movie called Let Him Go with Kevin Costner and Diane Lane. And Princess Punzalan and Dale Watson won Best Supporting Actress and Best Supporting Actor. And their competition was huge. It was two people from First Cow, Leslie Manville, who was in Nomadland, who has been nominated for an Oscar, that was it. And Princess, she won. And then for Dale, it was David Strathairn, who has also been nominated for an Oscar, and then two people from First Cow as well. And he won. So that was such a great cherry on the top of things, because these were not Filipinos. These are people that have nothing to do with our culture. They were people that love Western, and they applauded us. We also were the second most nominated film of those awards. So, and we won the Texas Independent Spirit Award, the Texas Independent Award from the Houston Film Critics Society. So we beat, a lot of Oscar contenders as well. So just to be recognized in Texas with a bunch of people that love cowboys,
right? It's an honor.
It's a big validation, because it's not it's not a world that I I know much about, and I wrote this little movie, and so that was a really, really special. And I'm so grateful that Princess was singled out because her performance was so great.
Yeah, because you know what, watching that movie, I thought about it like it doesn't matter whose ethnicity are watching, you will be drawn with the cinematography, with the acting skills, especially the movie and the movie itself. It's really one of a kind. It's a true story that everyone, especially those, like, okay, the white people, that they have no clue with what's really going on with illegal immigrants, and now they're
it's
like,
true.
Really,
yeah.
I have a few friends that I told them to watch it, and not Filipinos, they're African American, and they were like, really, that's really happening? I'm like, girl, yeah. And then the first thing they asked was like, dude, those people that who will call ICE, do they get like money from calling? And I'm like, I guess. I was like, I know. I mean, in California,
they don't.
I heard.
No, they don't. I think, yeah.
They don't.
They do not. They do
it's
not.
just a hearsay, right? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, some corrupt cop probably is paying some people,
Exactly,
but they're
right.
definitely not supposed to. But yeah, no, it happens, and they don't even really have to call. I think people know where undocumented people work, and they just go and raid in the middle of the night all over. And it was rampant during the last 4 years. And
you know what? With your movie, aside from the Filipino sensibilities and emotions, the music
Yes,
is what
yes.
made it.
Yeah.
It's a great Western movie with it's like a Western movie with great country songs.
Yes, yes. The country songs were the heart and soul of the film. And, I have to give all the credit to Dale Watson, who plays himself. He's a real musician. Mm-hmm. Most of the songs you hear him sing are his own original songs. And then for Rose's songs, I wrote them with Dale and with Thea Magia, and Eva Noblezada, our great lead actress, who I want to talk about, who's incredible, also wrote a bit, and I wrote a little bit. So it was a kind of coming together of all these creative people to make the music from the standpoint of the characters, but also that authenticity that Dale brings.
Yes.
You see him in the film. That's how he is really in real life. He talks like that. He lives like that. That's his
really?
house. That's the recording studio where we recorded the music. Actually, the scenes of her in the recording studio was when we were recording the music. That really was the recording session. We just shot it. So she's recording the songs in those scenes.
I heard that you filmed that Yellow Rose for 19 days.
Yes, that's right. We
Really?
shot it in 19 days. Yeah, it was a pretty aggressive schedule. We did one shoot in the Philippines, which is separate than that. But that was months and months later. But yeah, 19 days with the entire cast, and then we shot a couple of days of just shooting, like the landscape and stuff. But with the whole cast together was 19 days. Yeah.
How did you cast
and we
them?
had to.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How did you cast them?
Well, Eva is somebody who you probably know. She was cast to be in the revival of Miss Saigon, so I knew about her. When we were shooting our short film, I'd heard about her, and I didn't consider her for the short, which we shot. So oftentimes when you're making a feature film, you shoot a short proof of concept to show to investors. So they'll say, look, I know how to shoot, and this is a good story, and it's a small part of it. So we did that, and for that, I cast Dale was in that, and a young actress called Thea Magia, and that's when she co-wrote Square Peg with us. And around that time, Eva got cast, and then it took a couple years to raise the full amount of money to make Yellow Rose. And by that time, Eva was coming out of her Broadway run, where she had just been nominated for, actually she was nominated for a Tony the day right before we released the film in film festivals, but she was coming to an end for that. And I got to see her finally, even though I live in New York. I didn't want to see her because I didn't want to break my heart. But when I knew that she had a window of time, I went to see it, and she blew me away. And I had dinner with her that night and offered her the part, and she luckily said yes. So
I'm sure. Who would not say? Yeah. We would not say no to that, right? To that role.
Well, I was kind of coming out of nowhere. She didn't know who I was. A lot of people would say no, and so I'm glad that it worked out. She's incredible, and so many people, so many critics kind of called out her performance as a breakthrough performance. Variety named her performance one of the best of the year. Backstage, one of the best performances of the year. So, she's just incredible. I hope she does a lot more. Look at that face. She's just incredible.
Right? Look at that.
Yeah.
Do you have plans of like film or write another movie or script for Eva and Princess Punzalan, and including Lea Salonga?
The great thing about this film I'm writing, Lizards, it's a mostly Filipino cast. It's almost all Filipino cast, and there's definitely parts for them in it. I've written some stuff that I think everybody in the film could be in. So, I would love to reunite the cast for that. But I've got some other projects I'm working on as well, and we'll see. I'm very excited about
we're so excited.
the next couple of things I'm working on. Yeah, there's some really good ones. Not a lot I can say about them, but they're much bigger budgets and, sort of more diverse cast. And one of the projects I'm doing is produced by Scooter Braun. And if you know who that is, he manages
big time
Justin Bieber, but he's also a movie producer. He's sort of getting his feet wet in that. And Eric Feig, who produced La La Land and The Hunger Games and all of these things, was the president of Lionsgate. So we're doing a film together with a great actor. I'm not allowed to say who that is yet, but somebody who's won a lot of awards. You'll know who he is. Woo! And then another film with Atlas Entertainment, who made Wonder Woman, Charles Robe. And so that one is it's a sort of crime thriller about two women that go across America on a crime spree. It's very different than this one.
Oh my God,
and then I'm attached to a film by Robert Schenken, who won the Pulitzer Prize for Kentucky Cycles. He also wrote Hacksaw Ridge with Andrew Garfield, and he won the Tony Award for LBJ as a playwright. And so this is an adaptation of his play By the Waters of Babylon, which I'm also attached to direct, which is a beautiful script, very kind of dark drama set like a chamber piece between two actors. So totally different projects. And then, of course, this thing I'm writing.
Did all these come because, or did all knock on your door because of Yellow Rose? Or
Oh yeah, this is all after Yellow Rose.
My God.
Yellow Rose?
I was signed to UTA, which is a talent agency in Hollywood, and LBI, which is a great management company. And Lauren Albento's here, my manager. I think he's
Hi.
here.
Hello.
One of the few Pinoy managers in Hollywood. So he was in the audience during our premiere and wrote me this beautiful letter about wanting to he came to Hollywood to prop up the Filipino stories and to discover Filipino directors. And he's like, I feel like you're the one that, I want to rise up with. And he just wrote me this beautiful letter, and I was so moved by it. So
my God,
we have this wonderful thing that's happening where a lot of Filipino filmmakers, we're all kind of working together. We all know each other. Isabel Sandoval,
oh my God,
myself, Ramona Diaz. Yeah, she's fantastic. And all three of us were entered and eligible for the Oscars this year, which I think is a record, along with Aswang, which was from the Philippines. It's a great documentary. Mm-hmm. So 4 Filipino filmmakers, eligible for Oscars, whether if any of us get nominated, that'd be great. But even just that is an achievement, and it's sort of moving up the level.
When is the announcement of the nominees?
I think it is in a week or two. It's in March.
Oh my
God. Yeah. I mean, we're we'll see. It'll be a miracle, but
coming from the heels of Chloe Zhao winning in Nomadland as a director in the Golden Globes,
right?
It's not impossible.
Not impossible. Maybe not this round, but maybe the next round. But it's her time. It's time.
Yeah, because you have a lot of ammunition.
I have a lot.
Yeah, please do a lot of movies. Don't stop.
I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, it's so it's so uplifting to hearing you that, you know, like different Filipino producer are collaborating. There's no like, what do you call crab mentality right there. Instead of just like pulling down
so
each other,
true.
you're just lifting each other,
it's
right?
great to hear.
So true. We really made a conscious effort not to do that. I know when anytime someone tweets or talks about Isabel, I'm right there like, yay girl. And same way, anytime anyone writes about me, she says that. And I have like a weekly conversation with Ramona, and we talk about, you know, how we can raise up our film community. And so it's really beautiful the way we all are kind of friends, and that's our generation. And there's this whole crop of filmmakers that's coming up, you know, right behind us. So it's very exciting. I think it's going to be a very exciting next couple of years. You're going to see a lot more movies from Filipino filmmakers, all different kinds. And I hope I can I just want to be there to help in any way I can. I'm such a fan of our filmmaking community. It's really exciting. It's like, someone said it's kind of like a film movement. It's like a moment for Filipino. You remember when Filipino food kind of like Filipino restaurants in America kind of hit, and there was all these like great I think we're having a similar thing happening now with Filipino films. So I love that I'm right there with these incredibly talented women and we all have our own voice, which is really cool. We all have our different types of storytelling. So we're all distinct, but we're all, you know, share this one culture. So it's really cool and exciting.
I know we have a lot of Filipino stories to tell, and we need a spotlight on us now, you know, representation and all that.
Yes, it's about time.
It's a good thing too. I heard in the Philippines as well, just like what's happening in Korea, we're in the government supporting film. That's what's happening.
I heard that one.
They're supporting film making as well right now, the government. So
yes. The
happening.
Filipino Development Film Council is very active. They're very involved in promoting our movies.
Do you have plans of creating a teleserye, a Filipino teleserye?
I am.
The Filipino formula.
Right?
No, I mean, I love those, but no, I am doing an episodic thing, which we're about to go out with, but it's you know, hopefully it's with a Filipino lead, but we'll see. Definitely an Asian American lead. But it's set in America, in Chicago, and it's kind of like Fleabag. So I'm directing and executive producing that.
Oh my God,
It will happen.
Fleabag.
It will happen. We're claiming.
Yeah,
it for
no,
you, girl.
that's actually with Sony Television, but we're about to go out with that. But don't want to say too much about that because that's very early. But I definitely am doing some television as well. But you know, just trying to kind of you gotta stack all these projects because of the pandemic. Nobody knows when people are really going to really start again and when things will really get going. So I'm just doing a lot of writing right now and developing projects and meeting people and, you know, trying to line up my next couple of projects.
So do you think because of the success of Yellow Rose and you being a woman and Asian in the industry, did you notice that there's not a lot of pushback anymore right now? They're just looking at your success, and then they're just counting on that. They're not looking at who you are and what you're just because of how great you are.
Yeah, and I think the fact that Chloe Zhao is probably going to win the Oscar this year for Best Director is not going to hurt. And you know, we have Lulu Wang and Kathy Yan and Isabel herself. There's just so many really great female Asian filmmakers that are out there, and female male directors like Ang Lee and Bong Joon-ho and Wong Kar-wai and all the great directors that have been doing stuff for a long time. But I think the female directors are kind of just now coming out because, let's be honest, just they didn't give us the opportunities, you know. And for example, Farewell was one of the best reviewed films of last year. It was completely snubbed for the Oscars. But this year, I think you will see more with Minari and Chloe. Chloe will mostly get, you know, most likely get nominated, and maybe one of us will see. But you know, I think we're slowly kind of coming up. But the Korean cinema is something that I know I've studied, and almost like all of us that are kind of coming up as directors, we kind of figured, you know, we look at what Korea did, and you hit it on the head. It was one part the government, but also there were a lot of big investors that invested in auteur's movies, in these writer-director, very strong perspectives let them make their movie, gave them money, promoted them. And that's what this Korean cinema movement became. So if we can kind of follow the same pattern, I think we can kind of make a name for ourselves as well.
We're almost
We're
there.
almost there.
Yes.
We're definitely getting recognized on a world stage. So
Yeah, but
I'm
you know,
hopeful.
it sounded like you mentioned earlier after the success of Yellow Rose, right? Like a
Yeah.
lot of opportunities just started knocking on your door, right?
Yeah.
And it sounded like your plates are pretty much full right now. So what do you do for fun? What do you do?
I'm
for
a
fun now?
mom. Are you kidding? What fun? I mean, I'm
How
a
old is your
mom.
daughter?
She's 5.
Oh my gosh.
So as I said, she's the little girl on the film. So she's, I'm homeschooling her because of pandemic. So she's
Yes,
doing all her classes on the iPad, and that's a full-time job. So
exactly.
I gotta say, not a whole lot of fun, but I must say, like writing scripts and making movies are my fun. I mean, I love it so
Exactly.
much. It's a joy to do it. Pinch myself every day that this is my job,
I know, right? It's
So,
not a job, right? It's not. It doesn't
it's
feel
a
like a job,
passion.
right? It's a
No.
passion, right?
No, I'm very, very fortunate. I mean, you guys love what you do. I can tell.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we
you
love
guys
this.
are
This
having a
isn't just
good
our
chat.
part time, but we love it.
Yeah,
This is
That's
just
what
like,
I'm saying.
you know,
What I'm saying. It's
True.
a joy when you get to be creative.
Who
and you get to-
doesn't like this? You're talking to you right now. We watched your movie last year, and now we're speaking to you.
oh
you know?
God, the movers and shakers of Filipino Hollywood. Oh my God, wow, this is really an honor. Like not everyone will have a chance to talk to a successful. I said successful.
Not
a
sexful.
successful
That's
person
different.
like you. Yeah. What about love life?
Oh, here we go.
Love that.
Girl,
Do you have any
that's
love
not
life?
happening. No, it's not. I split from my daughter's father
Aw.
recently, so I'm a little bit like just getting back into it. But
It's his loss.
yeah, yes, he's also a big director. So
oh, okay.
but
Oh.
we get along really well, and he's very supportive of me. So it's as good as it can be. But yeah, he directs a lot of movies and stuff with Bruce Springsteen. So
What?
if you saw any film about Bruce, he's directed those things. So Sophie has 2 director parents, so maybe she'll
my
be
God.
directing
I'm sure.
Yeah.
What
She'll
if
be
you-
somewhere in the movies.
Oh my God.
somewhere,
yeah.
something,
Somewhere.
something.
What if
Something.
your daughter will say, "Mom, I don't want to write. I don't want to direct. I want to be an actress." Like at
She
the
is
age of,
already saying that. She is definitely already saying that. So I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. She's too young,
yes,
but she definitely has some skills. So I'm, we'll
I can
see.
tell
We'll
from
see.
the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very comfortable in front of the camera, and she's gotten more sort of sassy, but you're protective as a mom. And, I see child actors, it's a difficult life. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I talked to Leia about it because her daughter also is interested. So we were both saying, it's a tricky thing how much do you encourage that or not,
Oh, I'm curious. What kind of mom are you? Are you the
I'm pretty
disciplinarian type?
easygoing.
Yes. Oh, you are? Oh, that's good.
I'm pretty easygoing. I think, I love kids, and I'm probably a kid myself. So we just have a lot of fun. We're just like always joking around and kidding around. But it's the other thing. It's the other love of my life. I love being a mom, and I take it very seriously. I'm like cooking half the time and cleaning, and then I'll go back and write scripts. Like it keeps you humble. It's like no matter
It's
what
true.
highfalutin Hollywood producer you talk to, it's like
Yes.
Sophie's always in the background, needing to go to the bathroom. It's just like,
Yeah, right. I'm hungry, Mom. Or Mom,
exactly.
Mom,
Exactly.
we need to watch Raya already.
Exactly. It's like it just brings you down. It makes you real. It makes you not think too high of yourself. So
Yeah. Does she know? Is she aware that mommy's a big time producer, director, writer? Oh, she's just like, oh, you're my
No.
mommy. That's it.
no, I mean, she was Zooming with Bruce Springsteen the other day. She doesn't know what it. She was just like, hey, like she doesn't. Nothing is, like I'll show her a video of Leia. She goes, oh, that's my fake mommy.
Oh, yeah, she remembers, yes.
Oh, she remembers for sure. That's part of the reason I wanted her to be in it, because she was young enough that I didn't know, like maybe that's the last film I'll ever make. You don't know.
Yes.
And so I just wanted her to have that experience.
I remember that song. Yeah, I'm curious. Why did you pick that song Dahil Sa'yo? I cried. I cried that
So
song.
interesting you
Yes.
say that, because it was a song my parents sang to me, but we were doing press in the Philippines and someone was like, "Oh, is this because you support Imelda?" And I was like, "I just don't think of the song that way." And I know that it was the song she sang, but
Yes.
I was really surprised when someone asked me that in a press conference, and I was just like, "What? That's just a song my dad sang to me." Whoa,
They took it there, right? Oh my God.
took it
They
there.
took it that far.
Right in the middle of this like press conference, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, please no, that's not." Of course, when I say it here, I have to explain what the song means and all that, but I've never thought of it as that. I've always just thought of it as the song my parents sang to me, and also like that, like when we were going to sleep, and it was the song they sang to remind us where we came from, and they would sing it with each other. And so I have these very romantic ideas of what it means. And so, every single of the strong Filipino women sing the song in the film, first Princess, and then Leia, and then Eva, sort of outside her door. So, and then later Eva sings it back to her mom. So it was
Oh my God, I cried.
yeah,
I cried so
it was like a leitmotif. I know I knew I had something, because when we showed a very rough cut to a Filipino audience in San Francisco, and when I showed the film, I could hear people in the audience singing Dahil Sa'yo, and
Yes.
that's the one whenever, like, if you're Filipino, that's the scene you cry in. Especially when Leia sings it. It's because of what's happening in the scene as well, but because we know what the words mean. And
Exactly.
I intentionally didn't subtitle, because I didn't want it to be it was a decision not to subtitle the film, because I didn't want the American white audiences to start to look at us like the subtitled other. I just wanted them to see us as people. And so when they hear the song, they don't need to know what it means, but for those of us who are Filipino, it means something even more. So it's like a little gift to other Filipinos, that they know a little bit more of what it means, or it means something deeper to them. But I think you get the point of it if you don't understand the words. Yeah.
Yes. That's all. Actually, especially Filipino moms knows that Dahil Sa'yo. We
Yes,
know that.
exactly.
Like everyone. Even like
Exactly.
kids who grew up here, they know that, because
Exactly,
the
that's what I
parents,
mean.
the
Like, I
lola,
knew it.
the tita,
Yep.
right?
The Lola, exactly. And that's why I put it in there. And it's so nice that everyone sort of acknowledges that. But yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
It's
there's
so
one
great.
question from JP Pilares. How about the documentary, The Three Lives of David Wong? I believe it was selected for Sundance. Yeah, tell us about the lives of David Wong.
Yes, we were selected for the creative producing lab for that film. So this is a experimental documentary film that I started before Yellow Rose, and it talks about a real life Chinese restaurant worker who was wrongfully accused of murder. So I'm telling that story through live action puppetry. And we shot a film where we got into the Sundance Labs, and I just won a Creative Capital grant for that, which is very difficult to win grant. They give it to 3 filmmakers. And so we're still waiting to get more funding for that, because it's an experimental film. And of course, COVID delayed everything, but it's something I plan to take back up this year and hopefully finish. Hopefully this year. That's the plan. Okay. That's thank you for asking. That's very good research. That's like,
I know, right?
That's another project.
Wow. So wait, what's your, okay, after Yellow Rose, and what's next? Like the next film that you'll be shooting anytime soon?
Releasing.
I don't know yet.
No,
I don't know yet. There's a lot going on. There's some things I can't talk about, but I don't know yet. It's going to be either one of the films I talked about that I'm in development for, or something else. But there's 2 projects that are a bit, can't say.
But we, of course, definitely.
Can we talk about the commercials that you make?
The commercials, yes.
What was the last one you made?
The TV commercials.
I'm about to go shoot a commercial for Uber.
Ooh,
So.
There you go, kaching!
There you go. Did someone from the Philippines ask you to direct a TV commercial for a Filipino brand?
Never actually.
Oh, there
That's
you
never
guys!
happened.
Come on, what are you waiting for? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I have these great agents in LA, and kind of when I'm not doing a film, I definitely would do a commercial. It's short. You kind of get to direct and kind of get those muscles working again. I mean, it's been over a year since we released or we premiered Yellow Rose. So I just shot a commercial for Michaels, the crafts company
Michaels?
that's
Oh,
out
wow.
right now. I did that in December. So that was the first thing I shot after the pandemic. So that was interesting. Like we all were in masks, and there was a COVID officer, and it was all crazy. Yeah.
Have you seen any TV commercials in the Philippines, like
Of
Filipino
course,
brands?
when I visit, yes.
Yeah, what
They're
about
great.
like right? There's I don't know if you watched the RC Cola commercial, the one that
No.
You have to send it to her.
Oh yes, I'll send
Which
it to you.
one?
You'll be like,
It's
it's
pretty
very
out there. It's
eccentric
probably
and
like what you can concoct in your mind as well.
psychedelic. Yes, you'll be like, huh? What the?
I want to see that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing some commercial that made me cry. It was about Filipino Christmas. I think it might have been out of England. It came out during Christmas last year, and it went around,
Is
and
it
it was about a.
Jollibee? Is it Levi's?
It's not Jollibee. It's either a UK brand or somebody got to help me out here.
Okay.
Yeah, about a little girl and her Lola, and during Christmas, and I think it's set in England, but they're Filipino. And I remember just crying on that.
Oh, people live commented. Oh my God.
I know, right? Oh. Do you
Come
know
on,
a
live
lot?
comments. Which one
I
is
know.
it?
Yes.
What is it? What is it? We're curious to know too. No, actually, the RC Cola, by the way,
I want
it
to
was
see that. Send that to
featured
me.
by Ellen DeGeneres.
Mm.
Yeah,
Because
we
it's
were
so,
like,
okay,
what?
send it
so
to me.
weird.
Yeah.
What happens in it?
Oh, look, you better watch it. It's actually my cousin was the one. My cousin owns Gigil advertising agency in the Philippines. They just started 2 years ago, and they won a lot of. They were, I think, for 2 consecutive years, they won advertising agency of the year, and
Yes.
one of their pride and joy.
Disney. No, not Disney.
Oh, Disney.
Was it Disney? Maybe,
The Lola?
yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it's Disney.
It is.
Yeah, there's a great. I think
Oh my
I
God.
think I heard
I
this.
cried
There's
too.
a
Is that
grandma.
Disney?
a little
Yes,
kid.
the grandma and the little kid, and then she goes out and she gets older, and then she comes back. Yeah, and then of course, not a commercial, but Bobby Rubio's film for Pixar, Float, which I think just reached 20 million views. You're
Oh,
right, Disney
yes.
and the Lola. Yes, that's the
Yes,
one.
yes, yes. Disney and
Thank
the
you,
Lola.
Pilar.
Wow.
That's right. Pinoy feels, is it right?
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, if you can go back to usually Jacas, you know what, Jacas, you're the one who always asks this, so you please ask it.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is my beauty queen question, and I ask
Yes.
everyone.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yes. Miss Diane Paragas, if you have a
Yes,
chance to
Jacas.
travel back in time when you were still young, and you're able to talk to young Diane, what are you going to tell her?
Oh my gosh. That's interesting because I have a little girl, so
Yes.
it's a little bit easy. Well, it's something I tell young people now, because through my career, I got told a lot of no's, and for many, many years, I took those no's to mean I wasn't good enough. I just wasn't talented enough. I didn't have it. It wasn't for me. And at a certain point, I decided to take the no's as fuel. Instead of being beaten down by it, it made me want to try harder. It made me want to prove that I was good enough. And I'm really glad I made that change, because I wouldn't have ever made Yellow Rose if I didn't shift that thing in my head. Because I continued to make no's when I really went after the film again. But the second time I went after it, it was after I made Brooklyn Boheme, and we got bought by Showtime, and we had won some awards. I knew I had some talent as a director, that I'm like, I'm going to make this Filipino film. And whoever says no, I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to go to the next person. And it just fueled me. So that's probably what I would tell my younger self. Like, take the no's and make it be the thing that pushes you forward.
Take all the notes and shove them up there.
Shove it up.
Yes.
Of course, that's
Oh
how
my
you would
God.
put it.
Oh my God.
Shove up the nose up your ass.
Yeah, But was there since JCAS already like took us to from the was it from the to the past to your past? Was there a time that you felt like there was a prejudice going on because of the color of your skin? You're Filipino.
All the time, still today. I think
still
what's
today?
so. Oh my gosh! Of course.
Oh wow.
I think what it is that within the Asian American community, we're like the second, we're like the lower end, and people don't take us seriously. If you look at Asian American cinema, it's always East Asian cinema that gets featured.
Yes.
It's people from China, from Japan, from Korea. But when a Filipino film comes out, it's sort of like we have to try twice as hard, and it's like too small, even though our population is the second largest. I think in California, after the census come out, we'll be the largest Asian population in California. So, that stigma of being kind of not the real Asians, or we're not good enough within the Asian community is something that I feel still. And that's something that we have to overcome.
How do you deal with them?
Like we're an afterthought, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like when you look at the numbers of representation in film, it's the Chinese presence and a lot of Korean presence, some Japanese presence, and very little Filipino presence. So that's something that we're all of us in the film world are trying to shift and turn around and turn that conversation around.
How do you deal with them? Like, for example, like there's, let's say you you presented it, and then there was like you feel that they're not really like into. Do you know that your product is really good, right? But you feel that nah, and then there's another
it's
competitor.
too small. The too small is always what we'd hear. It's too small. There's not really a market for it. That I heard that and still hear that when you talk about a Filipino film, it's too small, and that's. Oh, I have to. My daughter.
Oh, she's there. Oh, my
she just woke up.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, she woke up.
She woke up? Oh.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Yes. Okay,
Can we say goodnight? I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyways, we would like to say thank you so much, Diane.
Thank you,
Diane.
So many things to talk about, but you know what? Thank you for giving us. Oh my God, it's an hour. Thank you so much.
Thank you for spending time
really
with
an
us.
honor. It's really an honor.
Cheers.
Yes. Okay, JCAS, close our. Last, if you don't mind, can you just last message to your to those people, especially those people who wants to make it, but until now. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's okay. Said mommy. Okay.
Yeah, mommy wants Diane already.
Mommy wants to. Okay.
But guys,
right.
thank you for watching, and don't forget to share this episode amongst your friends, and also follow us in our social media.
Yes.
We will cheers. Diane, remember everyone in OAGOT, amidst the pandemic,
yes.
Let's still find ways to be happy and to be okay. Let's watch Diane's future movies, and of course Yellow Rose, and of course. Let's cheers and be happy. Thank you, and keep on watching Over a Glass or a Tube.
Thank you, Diane.
Bye.
Good night, Diane.
Thank you, Diane.